This is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. On this episode of the MQP, Becky Brideau from Dystopica. Dystopica is a heavy metal band from Connecticut, formed in 2019 by Becky. And Dystopica has a distinct sound, blending hard rock, heavy metal, thrash metal, progressive metal. The band's music also includes melodic, harmonizing guitar riffs and powerful female vocals provided by Becky. Dystopica has shared the stage with national acts such as Metal Church, Gemini Syndrome, Adelitas Way, and Deadlands, too. In May of last year, they released their debut full-length album, Infinite Reflection, via Pavement Entertainment. And coming up this August, August 15th, they're releasing their third EP, Semblance of Order. We'll talk about that coming up, too. But first, Becky, welcome to the Metal Queens podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. So, how did Dystopica form, and what's the story behind the band name, too?
So, for the band name, I kind of thought of that as I formed it around the same time, like just the idea, because I always wanted. Prior to that, I've been in like a cover band doing, playing cover songs, but I always wanted to do my own music. So in 2019, I decided like now's the time. I'm gonna form my own metal band and do it. So I wanted something with dystopia, like dystopian, and I just was just thinking of different names, and I kind of just combined stuff and came up with Dystopica and just thought it had a ring to it. Just one word, you know. Sometimes it's a little difficult to pronounce, but it just has its own thing, and it's not like anything else. So I liked it.
Becky, you grew up in Connecticut. You're from Connecticut, based in Connecticut, Trumbull,
Yes.
Connecticut, outside of New Haven. Why music as a career for you?
I just gravitated to it. I've always loved music, both heavy metal and classical music. I actually started out vocally as a classical singer, and been doing that for years. Went to school for classical music for voice, and then got my master's in music ed. So besides being in the band, I also am a music teacher. So music is my whole career. And yeah, I just gravitated to it. I love it.
Yeah, you can definitely hear the classical influences in your songs. You integrate that into the songs nicely. So what was day one of this band? 2019, you formed the
Yes.
band. What was it like?
It was in the beginning, it was a slow process because it first was the idea of it. I started writing my own songs. I had like a lot of ideas and I just had to start putting them together, finding band members, Eric, our previous drummer, and then Rob, who I met in 2020 actually at WestCon at school that I was going to at the time. He was also going for music ed, and I met him, and he's a great guitarist. And it kind of like, well, then COVID.
Mm.
So that kind of slowed things down a little bit, but it took a while to like form and get rolling. But then once 2021, we had our EP, all the songs recorded, and then we released it, and that's like kind of where we really started. Prior to that, it was just kind of like, getting everything set up.
So you met Eric in school. So with the
No,
rest of the
Rob.
Rob,
Rob.
Rob in
Yeah.
school, with the other guys, was it a shared vision or just more spontaneous?
It was actually just as this band kept going, I just started meeting people along the way. Because in the beginning, we were working with like session musicians, and we had our producer Nick Bellmore. He was playing bass on the first two EPs. Actually, he also did the album as well because we started recording that in like 2022, like a while before it was actually released. It took a while to record. But when it came to playing live, we had Lucas join us, our bassist now, Lucas Dellaporta, and he became a part of the band. It was just it. And we also we had another guitarist join, and now we're gonna start working with another guitarist for live because we have the two guitar parts. So Rob records everything, but live we have usually have two. Sometimes it's all Rob. Sometimes we have the two parts. And our drummer Christian, we actually met recently because you know, after Eric left, we needed someone to come in and do the shows we had lined up and everything, and he joined, and he was just the perfect fit for the band. So ended up working out great.
Let's talk Connecticut. How does being from Connecticut shape your sound? And Connecticut's always had, I've been in radio for a long time, great rock radio stations, a legendary club in the area where you're from, Toad's Place, which you've played
Yes,
at.
yes.
How has it shaped your sound, the state?
I definitely think it has just being around like in the scene of the metal scene here and the rock scene. It definitely has had an influence just, growing up here and being around it. Um, my parents were into rock music and metal music, and that's what got me into it. So,
So it's in your DNA.
yes.
Now, I listed a bunch of styles to describe the band Dystopica in the introduction here, but for those who haven't heard you yet, Becky, how would you describe your sound?
You know, we I like to describe it just, I mean, general term it's metal, but we combined classic metal with modern metal, I'd say is like a big thing that we do. And then we kind of just like we have our own sound, which I love this, we do have our own sound and it we blend thrash metal, progressive metal, different genres of metal, but for the most part it's kind of like a combination of the old classic metal and then the new modern metal.
In terms of musical influences, you've released covers of Iron Maiden, the Scorpions, Judas Priest too.
Hmm.
Who are your influences in
Well,
metal?
Bruce Dickinson, Rob Halford, those are the top. I love them. I've been listening to Judas Priest and Iron Maiden my whole life, ever since I was really young, and I used to go to my grandparents' house and they would play Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. So I just love their voices. Pat Benatar is another vocalist who I look up to. She's beyond amazing. I was listening to her at a very young age as well. So those would be my top three.
Yeah, Pat Benatar from my neck of the woods on Long Island originally.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk new music. This Curse is the new single and video. I was checking that out earlier. The video came out, what, last month? What's the story behind that song?
So this song is basically about breaking out of a cycle and facing your problems because sometimes it's easier not to address something, but in reality, that's actually not easier. It's actually going to make it worse. So it's basically just like facing your fears, addressing your problem because, otherwise it's going to be worse. So in
Hmm.
order you have to break the curse.
How does the songwriting process typically work in this band? Who brings what to the table?
So I write all the music. I write it in sheet music and then I send it to the rest of the band, and they add their own their own uh, style to it and their own like they bring their own talent to the table and when performing it, and Rob does all the solos and everything, and that really makes the song come to life, each song.
You did something really cool on Instagram. You did a split
Yeah.
screen and it had a song where you were playing it in the studio and comparing it to playing it live. And that's my next question for you, Becky. Do you prefer recording in studio or performing live?
Definitely live,
Mhm.
actually, because I mean, I was actually asked that before, and I didn't know how, like the answer, but after playing live these songs live so much, I actually do prefer it live because I feel like in the studio, I mean, I love it, but I'm the type of person like I want perfection. So like I overanalyze it, and like at least live you just do it. It's like I feel
What,
like I enjoy both, but I do love playing them live, and I think I like that a little more just because you're just in the moment.
Becky, what was the goal going into this third EP, Semblance of Order, which is coming out on August 15th?
I really just wanted to as a band, I feel like we keep growing as a band and elevating our sound, and I really just wanted to uh, take this next step of our journey and continue to evolve our sound and grow and release something that I felt like was a good way to showcase that.
Did you always know that you were a pretty good storyteller in terms of, and did you always like to write songs?
I always liked to write poetry, like previous to writing songs, so I always liked that aspect. And I always like when it comes to actually writing the songs, like I used to have musical ideas in my head, but I wasn't like able to write them until like later, and I just, you know, I started doing it. um, but yeah, I always liked writing poetry and telling stories with the lyrics, and yeah.
And touring plans for the rest of the year. What's the story with that? Where are you guys going? What's the
So at
plan?
the moment, we're not touring, but we do have shows. We're working on more. We actually just started working with Blind Anxiety, a booking agent who's gonna work with us getting some more out of state shows. And we're gonna be doing weekend runs to start with, and then hopefully a tour at some point soon. But as a younger band, it's or a newer band, it's harder to just like leave and go on a whole tour, when we have our jobs and everything else. So we're gonna keep doing weekend runs and yeah, take it from there.
All right. Yeah, the EP again, Semblance of Order is coming out. Their third EP on August 15th. All right, Becky Brideau, we're going to wrap up with what I like to do. 5 questions for Becky Brideau to get to know you a little
Okay.
bit more. All right, let's start with your favorite drink.
My favorite drink, like any drink.
Any drink.
I guess a Cosmo.
Okay, good one. Favorite food.
Um, Favorite food. I would go with a turkey and cheese sandwich because that's what I have before I sing. Most gigs, just because like as a singer you have to watch what you eat, so that's like my go-to food.
Good and basic. But
Yes.
good. Yes. Any hidden talents?
Uh, Besides singing and writing music, I don't know. Yeah, I mean music's my life, so
All
I
right.
guess maybe drawing would count. I like drawing as well.
Okay.
Actually, how we came up with I drew the logo originally, and
Oh,
yeah.
very nice. Yeah. Now, if you weren't in music and weren't singing, what would you be doing? What kind of job would you have?
I would still be doing something music related. Probably just teaching or still doing music, but not on the performing band side.
All right. Now, I know you mentioned Pat Benatar earlier. Favorite
Yes.
female vocalist of all time?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with Pat Benatar.
All right. Good one. Good.
I also love Doro and
Yeah.
Tatiana of Ginger, especially for growling. She's my big top inspiration for that. But overall, Pat Benatar, I've just grew up listening to. I love her. She, like me, she started classical and then went to rock, and yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. I interviewed Doro years ago, long
Yeah.
time ago. Yeah. All right. Hey, speaking of growling, how did you develop that growl? It's badass.
Thank you. So I actually, like I said, I started classical. So starting out, I was always nervous, like with my voice, like I don't want to hurt my voice, whatever.
Yeah.
So I started with the gritty type of growling distortion, and then it kind of evolved from that into like me doing like the high screams with the Flight Vigorous cover, and now I do that on a lot of our original music. And then it just from playing around with that with the low stuff, I just was able to do it. It just came out. And
Well,
I liked doing the growling.
yeah, you've
So
got a badass growl, definitely.
thank you.
All right, This Curse, the new single, is out now, and the video too. Check them out. They've got plenty of videos on Spotify, YouTube, or your favorite streaming platform too. And the new EP from Dystopica, Semblance of Order, is coming out. Their third EP on August 15th. Becky, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
And this is the Metal Queens podcast. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. Thanks for watching. I'm Steve Richards.